Deputy Leader. Last week, the European Parliament established a special committee on the COVID-19 pandemic. The committee is entitled Lessons Learned and Recommendations for the Future. While many times we might be well served by keeping an eye on the EU, in this case I think we best take a leaf from their book. The COVID pandemic was the most impactful global health crisis of our time. Are we just going to move on like nothing happened? Are we not going to seize this opportunity to look back, to assess and critically examine our national response to COVID, to examine our own lessons learned and establish research and data-led recommendations for the future? It's unthinkable that we now do anything less than go through every aspect of our COVID response with a fine-tooth comb and investigate whether every facet of it was up to scratch. How responsive were we to changing circumstances and new data? How accurate were our predictions? What systems and responses worked out? Which ones didn't? Last September, Taoiseach said that he was wary of an official inquiry hamstringing responses to future emergencies. But isn't it the opposite? Wouldn't a robust, transparent inquiry show up any failures or mistakes in our pandemic response and allow us to build on our experience and do better in the future? It was stated in January that there would be an evaluation of the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Can we get an update on it? Who is to carry out the evaluation? What powers will they have to carry out their functions? Will it be a rehash of the Special Committee on COVID-19 response, where key figures of the pandemic response could flat out refuse to appear before it and be accountable, and which would wound up mid-pandemic once Cabinet figured out that accountability was inconvenient? Or will it be a real COVID inquiry that will drill down and uncover the inconvenient truths, face up to the hard data and equip future generations with the dearly paid for information as to how to handle an international pandemic? Anything less is an insult to those who lost their lives to COVID.
Senator Keogan, Carla, great reference to the European Parliament in terms of COVID. And Government, through the Taoiseach and the Minister for Health, have committed to our own review of COVID, which will happen. And it is important, you are right, that we learn from COVID and that we put the workings that worked well in proper structure, but also those things that didn't work well. So it's important that we learn from the pandemic that was the worst pandemic in modern history across the world.